Well, my friends, hello and welcome back to another video. Now, today we have some Tony Hawk's Pro Skater drama to go over, and you're joining me from an outside skate park for once for a video that I would normally film in my studio, but we're in Amsterdam at a deserted skate park, and I'm currently here filming a different project, but that's not for this video, that's for a future video. So, I've got my laptop here to take place of my computer that I want to have, and I'm going to brief you on the whole situation. Now, a lot of you guys may know already, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 were recently remastered a couple of years ago, taken from the PS1 version all the way up to the PS4 and a few other consoles. It was a very well-received remake by fans, and me personally, I really enjoyed it. It was a great homage to the originals, and they've pretty much kept it bar for bar and not really changed anything. However, with the new ones, with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, they've changed a few things and fans are not happy. I'm going to play you a quick segment of this video from Nintendo Life, just to give you a briefing. Then we're going to go over the different levels of drama in the THPS world at the moment, and hopefully come to a happy conclusion. So with that being said, let's play this video from Nintendo Life real quick.
The big thing that makes Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, unlike the other games, is the career mode. The career mode is very different. It's kind of open, well, it's not really open world, but it's free roaming. You skate around, you find people who give you missions, they're voice acted, and they'll say, hey, collect the skate letters, hey, collect the combo letters, hey, something else. You do those missions, you unlock new missions, you get money. It's a standard progression idea. It's not exactly outlandish, but it hadn't, as far as I know, been done. It certainly hadn't been done before within Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. And in this wonderful remake of 3 and 4, they have ditched that entirely. Basically, 95, all right, maybe not 95, but maybe like 70% of the identity of 4 over all the other games is the career mode. And they're just not doing it. From what we understand, there will still be a free roam mode, meaning you can just go around at your leisure and just have fun, but the whole point was that it added context to the world. You weren't just free roaming before, you were free roaming in order to progress. You could take your time, enjoy the sights, but also then do these little challenges. It was a great way to change the pace of the whole game.
And there you have it. The career mode no longer exists in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. Now, as someone who grew up with THPS 4, Underground 1, Underground 2, and American Wasteland being their all-time favorite games of that era, I can't help but say that I'm pretty upset with the fact they're not including the career mode in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. It was probably the best thing about the game, in my opinion. I used to love unlocking all the different skate videos you could throughout the career mode and then watching them in the options menu, because back when I was a kid, I had no internet, I had literally no shops that sold any skate magazines or anything. My parents wouldn't buy me one of the subscriptions, so the only way, literally the only way I could ever watch any skate footage was on the options menu of these Tony Hawk's games. So to say that I've put a lot of time into them is an understatement, but that's not the only problem with this. Not only are fans upset with the fact the career mode's not coming back, so you're always going to be stuck on like a 2-minute timer between missions and whatnot. I can easily see why people are upset about that, because I am very much as well. However, that's not even the main beef with Activision, the creators of THPS at the minute. And to go through that, we're going to have a quick look at this article here by GameSpot. Now, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4, every skater revealed. Have a quick look at that. This was posted by Darren Bonfuse on March 11th. And he says, the remake of THPS 3 and 4 was recently confirmed, and like 2020's Pro Skater 1 and 2, this new collection will feature most of the original skateboarding cast alongside several new faces, which we saw in the original. They want to put some new people into the games that have been killing it recently, and I'm all for that, don't get me wrong. I love it when they add new stuff, but taking stuff away that should be there, maybe not the same kind of excitement for something like that, you see? Reading on, it looks like the legacy skaters have been given a modern makeover, as the reveal trailer showed several legends pulling off tricks across several of the remastered levels. If you're looking to purchase it, you can check out the pre-order guide here. For this list, we've gone with a mix of official screenshots and snapshots from the original THPS 3 and 4 games. The roster between games remains largely the same back when they were released in 2001 and 2, and looks like each skater has received a wardrobe update as well. All for the wardrobe updates, Lord knows, some of them were dated. But let's take ourselves down to the skater list. Obviously, we've got Tony Hawk, Bob Burnquist, Steve Caballero, Kareem Campbell, Rune Glifberg, Eric Costin, and the list goes on for cult classics in the skateboarding industry. However, there is one key face that we are missing from this roster, and a lot of you, it probably is and might just be your favorite skateboarder or the character you played the most of, and that is Bam Margera. Now, me myself have definitely questioned some of Bam's practices over the years, but as a legend of the skateboarding industry, as someone who put so many eyes onto skateboarding and sold more boards than Tony Hawk at one point, Bam is one of the most famous skateboarders of all time, not just that generation, of all time. And even if I don't agree with some of the stuff he's been doing in his personal life or some of the troubles he's been into, some of the stuff he's put his family through, drug addiction and alcohol addiction, and Lord knows I've been through it, I've seen it happen to my family members. It's not a good thing to have around you. But it is definitely worth noting that in the last 2 and 3 years, Bam has really been cleaning up his act. It seems definitely from a public perspective that he has cleaned up his act a lot. He seems to be drinking far less, if at all. I'm pretty sure he's sober at the minute. He's off the prescription meds from what I've seen online, which is another massive win, by the way. An extremely difficult accomplishment to get off stuff that, especially when you're prescribed it, it's not easy. And I can see why fans are extremely upset with Activision here, because the expulsion of Bam, it's like a knife in the heart of so many skaters, especially from that 2000 Jackass era. Anyway, moving us over to Reddit real quick, we've got Bam Margera is seemingly not returning for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4. He was removed from the poster of Tony Hawk's Underground 2 in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, so he's already removed from some of the data that was originally in the THPS 1 and 2 games, and now he's been fully removed. But reading on, another Redditor says, it's also just that as much as I love Tony Hawk's Underground 2, from a nostalgia perspective, everything with Bam and some of the more Jackass adjacent cast, Wee Man, Phil Margera, it's just a bit dated now and 100% made more sense when Bam and the Jackass zeitgeist was at peak popularity in the mid-2000s. Now I have to disagree with this comment, because regardless of whether Bam and Phil and Wee Man and Steve are popular now, if you're remaking a game that had them as some as the main characters, you can't just leave them out because they're not popular now. That's ridiculous. We know so far they've taken the career mode out of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, and Bam Margera is potentially not returning for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. Now, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 was the first game in which Bam appeared, so the fact that he's not in there is pretty sickening, to be honest, to think they can remove part of skate history, a part of skate culture. But we do have some good news to hopefully steer this video into a happier direction as we go, and that is that Tony Hawk has apparently stepped in himself to get Bam back in the game, which is great to see. Tony Hawk and Bam have obviously been on good terms throughout the entire career, as far as I'm aware. I saw them skating together on a recent Instagram post, and the fact that Tony has stepped in and not just let Activision run the show and get rid of characters willy-nilly, I think is a great thing from Tony. And as if we didn't need a reason to like Tony Hawk more. I mean, come on, this guy is absolute legend through and through. So I've got an article from Eurogamer here. They basically said Tony Hawk reportedly intervened to get Bam Margera in Pro Skater 3+4 remake when Activision said no. It was never disclosed why Activision decided they weren't going to add him into the game, but we can hazard a guess it's due to either him asking for too much money, considering how famous and popular he is now compared to back then, and the second reason could potentially just be that they don't agree with his personal life, things that he's gotten up to. Obviously, he's been in a lot of trouble over the years. A lot of skaters have, but Activision, you can't just delete a man because of that. And the article goes on to say, skater and former Jackass star Bam Margera will reportedly feature in Activision's upcoming Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4 remake, despite being omitted from the publisher's previously released skater roster, supposedly thanks to a last-minute intervention by Tony Hawk himself. Margera made his series debut in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 back in 2001 and has appeared in all subsequent installments. However, fans quickly noticed his absence when 3+4's skater lineup was unveiled earlier this month, with many speculating his omission may be related to the legal issues Margera has faced as a result of his struggles with drug and alcohol abuse, just like we theorized earlier in this video. Though it's been claimed Margera will appear in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4 remake after all, albeit as a last-minute addition as Tony Hawk's insistence, that's according to skating podcaster 9 Club co-host Roger Bailey. So, with that being said, 9 Club have apparently reported the fact that Tony Hawk has stepped in to get Bam back on the roster, which I really hope they do, regardless of any personal struggles, personal issues, personal beefs that band may have with characters, people, whatever it is. I really do hope they put him back in the game, and the fact that they've gotten rid of the career mode of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 has probably stopped me from buying it, to be honest. I absolutely loved that. But that's just my childhood. Another little thing taken away. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think of this whole Tony Hawk's Pro Skater drama in the comments below. Let's have a discussion, and I'll see you in the next video.